So I am going to demonstrate how to play the drums. And first of all, the drum kit, or the drum set, was introduced in the late 1800s, and in the late 1920s they changed the drum set to include the toms here and the cymbals, which are these and that. And so, yeah, I'm going to demonstrate how to play the beginner's drumming pattern. First off, this is the hi-hat cymbal, and what you do for this is you push down the pedal to close them, and that gives you a little tick sound, or you could loosen them up a little and you get like a sound. So whichever you prefer, I guess. It's different for each drummer, but for the beginners thing, we'll just hold it down. This is the bass drum, and you pretty much use your right foot and you use the pedal and you just hit it. And that's basically it. This is the snare drum, and usually when you're listening to people play the drums, this is the drum that sticks out the most, and it makes the sound. And it has these little chains on the bottom that help make that sound. They just vibrate on the bottom, and that's how it goes. And that's the snare drum. And that kind of pulls it all together. But for the beginners thing, we're just using the hi-hat, snare drum, and the bass drum. And first of all, we are using just a regular 4-beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how we're going to start. We're going to start it slow, and you don't want to start fast because then you just get confused. And you just start, and you count out loud. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. And you play that on the hi-hat, and you hold it down with your foot. And what you do is you take your dominant hand, left hand like this, right hand like this. I'm right-handed, so yeah. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you want it to be consistent, and you don't want to speed up or anything, because that's just not how you play the drums. And it's harder if you speed up for beginners. And then when you're comfortable with that, you just add in the kick drum, or bass drum. And you add that in on beat 1 and 3. And you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you're comfortable with that, then practice the snare. And the snare, you hit it with the other hand that you're not using, and you go underneath the hand that you're using for the hi-hat, because if you don't, you just get all mixed up. It's not good. And you hit the snare on beat 2 and 4. So it would go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when you get comfortable with that, then you put them together. And it sounds like this. And you want to keep counting out loud, because that will help you keep them all together, and it'll help you figure out what you're doing wrong if you mess up, and it'll just help you. And then once you get better at that, which is like the simplest thing to play on the drum, you can speed up the hi-hat into 1/8 notes, I guess, and you just go crazy with the snare and the bass drum, and that's pretty much how you drum.